After my video on rednecks, a lot of y'all had questions about another word, hillbilly. Where does it originate and how did it become a slur? There are really two schools of thought on this. The first is that it began in 17th century Scotland when they combined the terms hillfolk, meaning Highlanders, with billy, meaning friend. It described Cameronians who were Presbyterians who were trying to defy persecution. But according to the second school of thought, the word hillbilly wasn't even popular until 1898 when Americans began using it to describe people from Appalachia and the Ozarks. You see, the Scotch-Irish started pouring into Appalachia in the 1700s. They were fiercely independent and they built their lives around being isolated and having true grit. And by the late 1800s, the word hillbilly began showing up in print. It was used a handful of times in the 1890s, but it really took off in 1900 when the New York Journal used the term hillbilly to describe those who led simple lives in the hills, who spoke their mind, drank whiskey, and shot off their revolvers just for the fun of it. Not long after the term hillbilly became popular, the image of Appalachia turned dark. Stories of bloody feuds became really popular, like the Hatfields and McCoys, and they began to spread. People started using them as a way to paint Appalachians as violent and backward. At that point, hillbilly stopped being a word and became a caricature. The Great Depression drove thousands out of the mountains along what folks called the Hillbilly Highway. They brought with them their traditions, their accents, and their music, and they were openly mocked as being lazy, ignorant, and primitive. Pop culture really sealed the deal because hillbilly music may have been the roots for country, but TV shows and comics turned hillbillies into bumbling fools. Then came Deliverance in 1972, which cast hillbillies as violent, inbred, and dangerous. Hollywood made it easy to laugh or fear at people that it was safe to belittle. So why use it as a slur? Because hillbilly became a weapon. It's a way to dismiss an entire region, to ignore poverty and exploitation, and to shame an entire group of people into turning away from their own culture. At the end of the day, it's just another way to sow division. The better question is why do so many of y'all fall for it?